Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 2 of WOR. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Qatar. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live last Monday, would highly recommend checking it out. There were some post-race penalties after that video went live, so we actually got P4 in the end from that opening race, which has meant Williams lead the constructors as we head into round 2 here in Losail. But yeah, this track really good fun. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't quite decided yet, even at the time of doing this intro, whether I'm going to post-com or live-com the race. Of course, if you want to check out the full stream back, there'll be a link down to the VODs channel as well, down in the description below, where I'll post up the full race there. But anyway, let's get into it with my qualifying. And jumping in then here to qualifying from Qatar. Welcome back to post-com Matt as well then. And for those of you that are watching this on my main channel, originally I was never planning on uploading this there, so you know, this is actually definitely now going to be the last video that I post from WR up on my main channel. Of course, if you want to see all the highlights from every other video as well, make sure you go sub to my second channel. There'll be a link to that down in the description. And if you're watching this here on the second channel, welcome back here to the Qatar Grand Prix. But yeah, Losail though, very interesting track inside F123. Very surprised actually by just how much I learned from this league race. And the most notable thing originally is just how much downforce you have to run around this circuit. The setup I was rocking tonight, I think it was 50-47 wings, so absolutely crazy. But yeah, Qatar though has very much become one of my favourite tracks inside F123. Of course, if you missed out on the My Team video that went live earlier on today, obviously that was also at Qatar, so we've got plenty of Qatar racing action for you guys on the channel this afternoon. I feel like I've said Qatar far too much inside the first couple of minutes of this video. But yeah, obviously we had a decent race, like I said, in round 1. We ended up finishing P4 to kickstart the campaign, but as we round our way towards the end of what would be my fastest qualifying lap, they're not the best lap hooked up in the world, I'll be honest. Made a couple of little mistakes as the time went on as we round our way out of the final corner though. It was actually originally going to be my banker lap, but unfortunately, as you'll see in just a second, the rest of my laps didn't really go any better there. A 1:22.3 is going to put us just 2 tenths behind TCC Zeki there, and that would put us provisionally in at P4 as more and more times constantly coming in. Right towards the end of qualifying though, tiny wobble unfortunately meant I just ran slightly wide. I definitely think I could have been down into the 1:21s, and a spin through the final corner anyway is going to put any, well, all the hope had gone anyway, because of course I validated, but yeah, any hopes of at least seeing what time I could have set now into disarray there. And you can see it was Zeki though in the Aston Martin that took pole, Cody in P2 ahead of Max, and then a big half-second gap down to Mikaze there, so definitely felt like I could have slotted into that P4. Yeah, only 2 tenths away from 4th place on the grid there, left me in P8, just ahead of the AlphaTauri of Sam and the Ferrari of Constant Soda there. Rambo, Barry and Jack all unable to get a lap in there in qualifying. But of course, 29 laps though around the Losail circuit. It can be quite abrasive on the tyres as well tonight, so of course I was really looking at what the strategy was going to be. Game was recommending hards over to mediums. Often though, I don't find that to be a way that really works for me inside this game, so I'm actually going to swap that around and go mediums over onto hards there. Of course, not really going to worry about the pit-in lap. You know, if we come in a couple of laps early, that's not too much of a concern. And of course, fuel burn around here is absolutely ridiculous as well. I can massively thank Stream Chat for that one. Obviously, check out my Twitch as well. But yeah, Stream Chat did absolutely carry me, as you're going to find out, because fuel burn is ridiculous here, and also ERS usage. You basically can't use the battery around this venue. But waiting on the grid then ready for the 5 red lights. For round 2 of WOR, it's going to be 5 red lights, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. Pretty standard start, actually, despite the fact basically everyone around me is on a set of hard compound tyres. Epix is going to go and try down in the middle as we head in towards turn 1, but I'm just going to try and keep it clean and tidy. There was a little bit of a dive from Rambo, and that was Chico getting turned around instantly there. Contact with the Ferraris. We get a warning for contact with the Mercedes there as we make our way out of the first couple of turns, though fairly clean and tidy for myself at the start. There you can see the AlphaTauri trying to have a look for a move on Epix again there, and almost a bit of a wobble as we head into turn 4. Very well done to gather that up, but then instantly goes into the back of the Ferrari, picks up front wing damage, and finds the barrier as well. There's the Ferrari and the Red Bull just in front of me running each other out of road, so we're going to say thank you very much there and get on the inside of the pair of them. And I said how at the end of qualifying I felt like I could have been in P4. well, by Sector 2, we're exactly there. So it actually ended up being a very, very good start to this Grand Prix. We can see Zeki up the road on a set of the soft compound tyres. Max was one of the only other cars that opted to start this race on a set of mediums there, and it was Cody that had been able to take the lead, who I think was on a set of hard compound tyres as well, so had done a very good job to get around Zeki there off the start, despite being on 2 stages of harder compound tyre. But as I mentioned though in the intro, very much a track where you cannot use battery around this venue, so trying to manage that was going to be very, very difficult this afternoon. It just naturally depletes. There's not really many big braking zones around this venue where you can really save much charge, and of course, especially with just how ridiculous the downforce levels were around here, you can see barely able to reach 8th gear as we head down in towards turn 1, and that really contributes to the stupidly high fuel burn as well there. So we've still got Rambo all over the back of me as we head down in towards turn 1, just about able to cover him off this time around, but I don't think it will be long before the Mercedes is trying to have a look past me there. Very, very quick, but of course just lacks that little bit of consistency as we continue on lap 2 though, and that's actually going to be the Aston Martin and Max going for a bit of a spin there, so must have gone, I think, had an incident with Cody, because he's now lost the lead to Zeki as well then. So the Aston Martin up to the front of the field now, as Rambo just 1/10 behind me, really tucked in, practically pushing me along as we make our way through this final sector then. But yeah, he's probably going to try and have a look, like I said, for a run once the DRS has been enabled, of course, as we start lap 3. And that's the other thing to take into consideration as well around Qatar, is the fact that we have only got this one DRS zone. Very, very rare for a modern Formula 1 circuit. You know, most places have at least 2, and some of them, of course, now with 3 or 4. As here comes Rambo, though, down the inside, going to use a bit of battery just to pull alongside me there, but I'm not really too interested in having too big of a fight with the Mercedes. We'll kind of just let him get on with it and hope that we can hang on in the DRS there, save some battery for myself, because you never know how useful that'll be later on in the afternoon then as we make our way on towards the next few laps. So really just trying to settle down into a rhythm. Unfortunately, would in fact lose the DRS to Rambo quite early on here, so he's now in hot pursuit of Cody and Zeki at the front of the field. But, you know, we've got Jack Clays behind us, who's already picked up a 3-second penalty, and that's going to be really, really important as well this afternoon. Track limits around here, incredibly difficult to keep it clean and tidy. There is a lot of commitment required around this venue, and that meant that, of course, we didn't get a penalty last weekend as Jack soars past me as we head down in towards turn 1. You can see giving him a little bit of a wave there as he flies past. But of course, Belgium, you know, we gained a couple of places at the end of the race by avoiding penalties, so that was absolutely my game plan once again here. Of course, managed to get through that entire race without even a single track limit warning, so that's kind of my goal this season, of course, is really hope that that can try and play into our hand there, as we've actually got a car retired, and that's going to bring out a safety car on just lap 7 of this race. So this is actually going to put us in a very, very difficult scenario, because theoretically Twitch chat was telling me we could drag a set of the hard compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, but it was going to be incredibly tough there. Just see Jack trying to bait a move in front of me, but I kind of thought like this really hampered us, but it was going to hamper the hard compound runners even more there, because there was absolutely no chance a set of mediums could go to the end. One driver it did really work well for was in fact Zeki there, who on a set of softs, they were probably going to be falling off very, very soon afterwards. Cody is going to go set of mediums there. Zeki is going to obviously go hard tyres, like myself. So we're really going to have to try and nurse these towards the end of the afternoon. But as we head back down towards the pit lane exit, we are going to re-emerge in still P6 of the race. So basically every car behind us thought we may as well box at this stage of the afternoon. You can see Cody already with a 3-second penalty, him and Max as well just behind us. So important that we keep tabs on who's got a penalty around me and who doesn't at this early stage of the afternoon. But the end of lap 9 then, 20 laps still to go here in Qatar. Now we are really got to start trying to manage the tyres, of course, ready for the second half of the race there. But as we head through the penultimate corner, it is going to be Rambo that leads the way on that old set of hard, so it's not going to be long before, of course, all of us on the mediums and the hard compound tyres are going to really be able to capitalise on, I think it was the front 3 in this race that have been able to stay out there, and we're going to try and extend the stint as far as possible. You can see Zeki immediately under pressure from Cody as we head out of the final corner to start lap 10 of the GP there. Are we going to see the Alpine get past him? He's quite desperate to try and make the move work down in towards turn 1 there. He needs to utilise those softer compounded tyres, of course, because he's going to have to make another pit stop before the end of the race there, but actually let Zeki back pass. So I don't know whether there was an illegal overtake or just have made a bit of contact and felt like he had to give up the place. But yeah, Cody letting him back through there, so we're still going to be all over his gearbox as we make our way up through turn 4 there. Very, very lovely flowing corners, like so many of the corners around here. As now Zeki actually has picked up a penalty as well there. Cody trying to beta move down the inside in towards the next corner there. Can't quite get it slowed down and hooked up, and we're just trying to keep the front wing clean and tidy at the moment there. As you can see, the AlphaTauri Sam already really struggling as we make our way through the middle sector there, so there's already a bit of a traffic jam starting to form as Cody's going to dive down the inside of Zeki. We're actually going to get tagged from behind, and I think that was the Aston Martin and Max there just running into the back of me. As you can see, Sam again almost 3 wide as we head up into the fast-flowing right-handers there. Cody's going to get around the outside of him. I've just got nowhere to go, so we're going to have to sit back and be quite patient. We'll get down the inside between the second and the third apex there, and unfortunately that's going to cost me a bit of time to the Alpine and the Aston Martin just in front of me, but luckily we're still inside the DRS range at the moment. Yeah, that really has allowed Rambo and Jack Clays just to build up a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a buffer here from those cars behind them that are going to be very, very quick into the second half of the race there. Max as well, just behind me, now trying to go for a move on Sam as well, so really has not been the ideal restart for him as Cody again down the inside of Zeki as we head in towards turn 1. This time around he gets the move done a little bit simpler, and yeah, we've really just got to make sure that we stay in the DRS of these cars at the moment, as now we can see Jack starting to struggle on that old set of the hard compound tyres. Cody already has flown past him, so our battle at the moment was really with Zeki just in front of me, of course, because we were the top 2 that were looking to try and get to the end of the race there, as I think again Max has actually ran into the back of me there down at the hairpin and span himself out, so unfortunate for him. I did apologise to him after the race, but it was just a difference in the way we were trying to approach that corner. I was really trying to late apex it, but get tight on the exit. He was really trying to fling the car a bit more in aggressively through the first part of the corner there, so yeah, did apologise to him, but you know, we did agree between us, you know, there was not really a lot I could do being the car in front. You know, it was his job to avoid myself there. As Jack, though, we can see Zeki's going to fly past him. I'm going to try and follow him by as we head back down towards someone there in a fairly simple move without even having to use any of my battery as well here. So as we look towards the second half of the Grand Prix, I'm now really starting to think about how strategy is going to work out long term here. Of course, we've still got Rambo in the lead. He's going to have to box onto a set of mediums to try and get through the second half of the afternoon, but the pit lane round here really does cost you a lot of time there, as Rambo actually defending from Cody quite well here has allowed Zeki and myself to get back in there. Zeki just really wants to try and defend that place from myself at the moment. Not really, you know, we're trying to be cool, calm and collected here. We're really trying to see these races come towards myself there. Don't really want to make any enemies early on the season as well. As you can see, Cody now and Zeki flying past Rambo. We're going to try and make it 3 cars that fly past him in towards turn 1 there. The DRS still super powerful around this venue despite the lower speeds. Make sure we give Rambo some room on the exit. Clearly he didn't want to fight it all too much as well, as that's going to be my first warning of the afternoon, so we're going to have to be really, really careful of those throughout the second half of the Grand Prix. Of course, you know, we are the only car inside the top 5 without a penalty at the moment, and I wanted to try and keep it that way for as long as possible there. As again running a little bit wide that time around though, lifting out of the throttle, making sure I don't gain an advantage in the process here. But yeah, Zeki and Cody now in front of me really are trying to duke it out rather aggressively for the race lead. So I was more than happy just to sit back, allow the action to unfold in front of me, and wait and see what happens there as Mikaze now up into P4 just behind us. They can see Zeki running very, very wide through turn 1, and Cody will still hang on to the race lead for now then, but it can't be too many more laps before Cody boxes in. I would imagine it's probably going to be towards the end of, you know, lap 19, lap 20, I would have thought, of course, and you can see come to the end of lap 19. In fact, Cody now is going to dive into the pit lane there, so he might probably, I would imagine, take another set of the mediums through to the end of the afternoon. But now it was going to be between myself and Zeki here. As you can see, Bitlake Barry from the rear of the field has actually moved himself all the way up then into P3. So he's gone for the same strategy as myself and Zeki here. And yeah, despite starting at the back of the field and not having the best run through the early stages, that safety car has really allowed him to get back into this. As Ben, he is my teammate. He just joined late, hence why he's in a Mercedes there. We haven't lost Ben as my teammate there, despite how much I'm having to carry him at this early stage of the season. But already now towards the end of lap 20, we can see now, obviously, Barry 4 seconds back, Rambo 17 seconds back, so he's one of the cars that I'm really worried about here, as we are going to actually go for a move down the inside of Zeki in towards turn 1 there, and I think he just wanted me to be the one that drags us along for a couple of laps, of course, whether he could try and apply some pressure and force me into making an error that might allow me to pick up a penalty here, but I was feeling very, very calm and comfortable, you know. We had that 3-second time penalty in the back pocket against him, that of course if he did make an error, then I wouldn't have to worry all too much. And you can see now as we start lap 24, the gap to Chico and Rambo really not coming down anymore. He's actually now going to pick up yet another 3-second time penalty, so we've now got 6 seconds in the pocket over Zeki here late on in the day, so I knew the pressure was off. We didn't have to worry about this whatsoever here, as now in towards the final couple of laps though, Zeki is once again going to try and get the move. He might not be able to win this race on the, you know, after penalties, but I'm sure he'd still love to win it on the road here, so we're going to have to try and follow him round as we head in towards the final lap of the afternoon. You can see Chico, the gap now down to 11 seconds. Barry is looking like he's going to fall victim to those medium compound runners there, as Jack Clay's as well, just a few seconds further back, but both of them with 9 seconds worth of penalties here. But onto the final lap we go then, draining the battery as we close up to Zeki in towards turn 1. Down the inside, we're going to go there on one of my championship rivals here as we make our way through turn 1 and turn 2. He's still going to have the inside line. Clearly, despite the penalties, of course, we both still want to be the one to take the checkered flag, but we've got so much more battery by sitting in that DRS for so many laps there. And Zeki, as we head up in towards turn 4, he's going to back out of it. He doesn't want that fight in towards the next couple of corners here. We're both still very worried. You know, the 1-2 is easily on. I was going to take the win by virtue of the penalties anyway, so I think there was an element of, you know, let's just try and make sure that we both pick up the big points here come the end of the afternoon. But as we round our way through the middle sector here, lap 29 of 29, out of nowhere, it really is looking like this race could go my way, and I honestly was not believing this until those final few laps. I really did think the medium runners behind us were going to close up so much more than they've been able to. But in towards the final sector here in Qatar,
don't get a puncture. Don't get a puncture. Don't get a puncture. Come on, one more corner to go. One more corner. First ever race on chat. First ever league race here at Qatar. And we're only going to do it. It's going to be P1 out of nowhere. No pacing quali. But we will take those. I have no idea. I have no idea, man. Got lucky with the strat. That must be the first league race win I've had in literal years on F1.
And I did have a look after the race, and the last time I got a win in an F1 league race, a 50% race online, the 15th of December 2019. Yes, 3.5 years ago. This was why this video went on the main channel, because I honestly had forgot the last time I won an F1 league race. Of course, we returned on last year's game, got my first podium in a very long time as well, but this time around, Williams back on the top step of the podium. It does mean as we leave Qatar as well, I'm now actually top of the championship as well, so absolutely ecstatic with that. But yeah, fantastic race of just trying to control it, control the pace at the front of the field, everything like that. Like I said, of course, you know, no more of these races, no matter what happens now, are going to go up on the main channel there. But we take the dub. It was only myself and Epix that didn't pick up a time penalty come the end of the race. Zeki in P2 ahead of Chico there, and yet the Ferrari in P4. Barry just beats out Jack Clays there, with Cody, Rambo, Ben, and Max rounding out our point scorers there, with Makaze and the AlphaTauri of Luke's there in P12. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. Like I said, follow the Twitch. We'll be live again this Thursday night, ready from Saudi Arabia as well. You guys do not want to miss it.